I'd like to welcome everyone to the March 1st, 2021 Harnett County Board of Commissioners regular meeting. At this time, I would like to ask Commissioner Johnson if he would lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance and Invocation.
Yes, sir. I'll be glad to. And face the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing and pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, we come together this morning as a body of county citizens and state or county government. We ask your blessings on this day, and we ask for and thank you for a beautiful day yesterday, and we just hope for many more of those days coming months. We're still fighting the virus. It's still around, so we ask your blessings on fighting that down so it would go away. Ask your blessings for the decisions we make before this board this morning. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. At this time, we'll consider any additions or deletions to the published agenda.
As a matter of fact, we have no budget amendments this week, which is unusual, so we need to renumber everything, but that's the only change, so there's no budget amendments. Did you already take it off? Okay, never mind, they're already gone. I was told to say that today. I was out last week, I apologize, and didn't know. Okay.
No worries. Anyone else have anything? Hearing none, seeing nobody nodding. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as published?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda as published.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Weatherspoon, and thank you, Commissioner Nickel, for the second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. This time we'll consider a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Thank you, Commissioner Weatherspoon. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Nickel. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, consider a resolution by the Harnett County Board of Commissioners to revise the Special Board of Equalization and Review. Mr. Appel?
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
So I'll just kind of briefly go back over the purpose of the resolution for everyone. But as Chairman Matthews pointed out last time, with the property reevaluation going on, there's probably going to be additional matters before the Board of Equalization and Review. I feel like this may be the time to go ahead and expand it by 2 additional members under 105-322A. 105-322 in general. The board sets the Board of Equalization and Review and sets the membership. And so this resolution amends the current Board of Equalization and Review to add those 2 additional members. And the only change, I did make the one change since last time I presented before you, and that's under Section 5D. So to begin with, for the first term, the commissioners, you all will go ahead and nominate 2 individuals to go ahead and get those seats filled. But thereafter, for any other appointments, they'll go through the normal procedures for appointments. So individuals will submit their names, and then you all as a board will then select those 2 members. That will just be for those 2 members. Everything else about the original resolution creating the Board of Equalization Review will remain, so each one of you still get a nomination for the other 5 individuals. So in order for it to take effect, it would have to be approved today, or else we'd have to wait until next term. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, we can move forward with this.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Appel? Do I hear a motion? Since I brought this up, I will make the motion to approve the change as described by Mr. Appel and to add 2 at-large members to the Board of Equalization and Review.
Chairman, I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson, second. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Pell.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, then we have item 7, consider a resolution to accept an offer on the property which was formerly the Veterans Services Building. Mr. Snow?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
When this building that you're currently sitting in was completed, the Harnett County Resource Center and Library, basically the County Veteran Services Department, got a new home. They're downstairs, headed up by Eric Truesdale. The previous home, or a previous home of the Veteran Services, was located at 817 South 8th Street in Lillington. And since that time, the county has made a determination that this 27-foot by 110-foot commercial building in downtown Lillington is no longer needed for the county, basically, for any of its services. The county had an appraisal conducted of this property by Tom Keith and Associates out of Fayetteville, and as of February 5, 2021, they placed a value of $125,000 on this property. Since that time, the county has received an offer from Macias Enterprise LLC, initially for $121,150 for this property. The county went back to Macias and advised them that we had an appraisal for $125,000 and would consider an increase of their bid for this property. Pursuant to that communication, Macias Enterprise has submitted an offer for this property for $125,000, and they also agreed to go through the statutory process, which is negotiated offer, advertisement, and upset bid procedure, as set forth in North Carolina General Statutes 168-279. Pursuant to that statute, Macias has made a deposit with our clerk of 5% of their price offer, which is $6,250, so we're holding that deposit at this time. What you have before you is a resolution by the board, which if you adopted it today, would propose to accept this offer of $125,000 for this property, subject to the upset bid procedure. If you propose or conclude to adopt this resolution today, then the county staff is directed to advertise this proposed sale, post an invitation for increased bids, and once it's published in the newspaper one time, that upset bid period would extend for 10 days. Any upset bid that's received during that period of time pursuant to the statutory minimum basically would be received, and then there'd be another round of upset bids. So it's basically there to protect the county, the citizens, to ensure that you get as much money as you can for this particular property. If and when a final bid is submitted and received, then the county commissioners at that time would have a further opportunity to adopt a resolution to go ahead and sell this property by special warranty deed as is. What you see is what you get. And that's the proposal today.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Snow? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to accept this resolution so that we can begin the process of, as outlined in statute, for the sale of this property?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept this resolution for the purchase of this property.
Thank you, Commissioner Nickel. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner McCoy. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Snow.
Thank you.
Next, we have an update from the Harnett County Cooperative Extension Department Director Tim Matthews and his staff. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you this morning?
Good.
I want to wish everybody a good morning and actually thank you for allowing us to be here this morning to share with you a little bit about what Cooperative Extension is doing in Harnett County. My name is Tim Matthews. I'm the Extension Director. In February, I finished up my second year here in Harnett County. And I've got to tell you, my first year was much easier than this past year.
I'm sure.
Year was. In my first year, I spent a lot of time learning about the county, meeting our stakeholders, and observing our team. and the excellent programs that they provide for our citizens. My goal the first year was to ensure that we, Extension, were recognized as a valuable asset to Harnett County. After the first year, I felt like we'd made some progress, some good progress, and I was looking forward to continuing that success in 2020. And then, of course, we all know what happened. That's another reason that I'm glad to be here with you today, because I want you to hear from our agents about the work that they're doing in the county. Before you hear from them, though, I want to give you a few brief highlights about what's going on. Our staff consists of 13 employees, including full-time agents. We have area specialized agents, our administrative person, we have program assistants, and we have a small number of grant-funded members as well. And we represent both NC State and NC State A&T universities, the land-grant universities. Programs addressing issues identified by the County Advisory Council and specialized committees are led by agents within the areas of food and nutrition, agriculture and horticulture, family and consumer sciences, 4-H youth development, and community and rural development. As you can imagine, we have a lot going on. Since 2020 was such a different year, I wanted to share with you just some numbers that we collected at the end of 2019, because that was more of a normal year for us, more of a typical year. But during that year, we had our face-to-face contacts for 2019 were 17,005. We had non-face-to-face contacts of 282,500 for a total of 299,500 contacts by our team. Our staff also works hard to acquire non-traditional funds to supplement our programs and support our clientele. In 2019, we were successful in acquiring grants totaling $186,000. And this doesn't include the grants that our agents were able to work directly with farmers and other clientele to gain. Extension is also known for involving volunteers in our programs. From our advisory council to 4-H, Extension Master Gardeners, our Extension Community Association, and others, volunteers contributed 15,600 hours of community service. And when you consider the federal rate for volunteer service at $25.43 an hour, the value solely from the service of our volunteers added up to $396,700. So they're bringing a lot to the county. As I mentioned earlier, 2020 was not such a great year. Just like everyone else, when COVID hit, we had to make some adjustments. I'm sure you'll hear about some of the efforts that our agents made when they get up, but I want to share with you just a couple of stats that happened during 2020. As a part of our marketing efforts, we had developed an internal marketing team just for Extension at the beginning of 2020. And we formed a weekly Facebook effort that we called Tuesday Tidbits. This is a 2.5 to 3 minute educational video featuring our staff. This has been a popular spot and has greatly increased our presence on social media, and has actually allowed the citizens of Harnett County to see their agents when they're seeing these on the computer. But when I checked the stats at the end of 2020, we had increased our total number of minutes watched by 747%. So we've got a lot of people that are coming there to see what we're doing right now. Another opportunity we had in 2020 was assisting the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services with distribution of farm workers' PPE to our H-2A and migrant workers. And that's an effort that we're still involved with. Through those efforts, PPE materials made it to over 730 farm workers at more than 20 farms, with PPE materials remaining to meet the needs as we go into this 2021 season. So we're still doing that. In your packet, I provided some statistics from the most recent census of ag, and you can see the impact that agriculture has on the county. As you look at these statistics, you'll see that while our farmland is declining, we are experiencing the growth in sales locally through direct-to-consumer sales. One of the ways that we're working to help our farming community with this is through an app that was generated through NCDA called Visit NC Farms. In December, we actually went live with this app with sponsorship from Harnett County Farm Bureau, and we were able to provide access to this tool for our farmers for the next 3 years at no cost to them. This allows the public to find the products and services that they want locally, and this fits right in with the big emphasis on local food, and especially with the pandemic now, people are looking to shop more locally than going out. So we're happy to report that as well. But at this point, we are continuing to build the assets on that. We've got up to 50 assets that we can add, and so our ag agents are working hard to get that done. So at this time, I'd like to introduce you to our staff and allow them to tell you just a little bit about what they're doing in their particular program areas. And I'll tell you, I've told them each that they have between 2 to 3 minutes. We don't want to take up all your morning, so they'll be brief, but I think you'll be impressed by what you hear from them. So I'm going to call Jackie Hilton up first. He is our 4-H and youth development agent.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I wrote this down because anybody that knows me talking for just 2 minutes is a real task. But I am Jackie Hilton. I'm the 4-H agent here in Harnett County, and I've been doing 4-H work in North Carolina since 1993 and since 2014 here in Harnett County. I am blessed. I get to work with one of the best teams in all of Extension. When you have a team that enjoys working with each other, you can see it, and the product that you're putting out there for the citizens, you can just see it's a better product. And I'm going to share how you can see that in a minute. Our team has taken programs we developed here in Harnett County, and we turned one of them into a statewide 4-H program. Greg and I will actually be starting to lead that session this Saturday for all of North Carolina on our Farm to Fork camps. And we have a program called Around the World Cuisine, which is going to become an international 4-H program, all started right here in Harnett County. 4-H networks with several county partners, including the schools, libraries, parks and recreation, JCPC, Soil and Water, the Health Department, and so many more. I serve on the Keep Harnett Beautiful Committee, representing Cooperative Extension, and we'll be working with Soil and Water to offer a litter prevention program for our schools and 4-H members in April. In your packet, I've shared a one-page flyer with more information about our 4-H program here in Harnett County. So when you get a chance, please look through it. And if you got any questions, just know we're right across the street and we'll be glad to answer them. But I wanted to use my limited time today to sort of talk about our 4-H family. And what does that mean? So I want to go back to 2020 last year. We have a huge program for school enrichment called 4-H embryology. This is where the second graders get to learn about the life cycle by actually watching chicks hatch in a classroom. Well, we just started that program with the first 18 of the 84 second grade classrooms we work with annually with the 4-H embryology program. And we were afraid that COVID was going to shut the schools down. So we started coming up with a plan so we could figure out how those students, which is part of our family, could continue to watch that hatch from that program that already started. So we decided if and when the school shut down, we would have a live hatch cam through our Facebook page so that those families could still participate and watch the hatch. Well, sure enough, the day before the hatch was to happen, the schools got shut down. So we had to rush around to all the schools, those 18 classrooms, and get all the eggs and try to get them home so we could do the live hatch cam. Well, on the ride, we did have one little guy that decided he was going to hatch on the way to the incubator at the house. And yes, he is okay. I'd never seen that before, but I had to show that picture. But we were able to get those eggs into the incubator, and using a system that NC State provided us, I was able to have the live hatch cam. And so we had 10,000 people enjoy the hatch cam. So we were reaching a lot more than just the schools that got to see the actual process. No, it's not as great as being able to have those kids hold those chicks and turn those eggs in the classroom, but it was the best way we could give them that opportunity to participate. So that's just one of the things that we did. It was so popular, by the way, we decided to have a second session of our live hatch cam for the other schools that had not started the program yet. And so we ended up reaching another 30,000 people through our live hatch cam. And we shared our idea with other counties, and Johnson County ended up reaching 90,000 when they did their live hatch cam. So trying to keep our citizens involved. Also, Harnett County 4-H was asked to host the first NC 4-H Daily Spark, which was a statewide special interest program so that youth across all of North Carolina 4-H members could participate. Since schools were out, we're trying to give them some sort of interactive programming. And we were asked to host the first one. And so we got together with our team, and I say the team, this is one of the things I want to be clear about. You know, when you're going to host something live, we're having to figure out how are we going to put all this together. Are we going to give them a quality product that's going to make Harnett County proud? And so one of the things we try to do is we had to learn this on the fly. We learned a few things about Facebook Live. It does not like 45-minute long sessions. It turns them to an hour-and-a-half long session by the time the download's there. But the best part was when we got all the results back, we took a program that's very popular here in our county called our 4-H Cooking in the Kitchen program. And we taught the kids how to cook 2 recipes. Ice cream muffins, and if y'all want that recipe, I've given it to the commissioners before, some of them. We'll be glad to share it with you. And also how to cook an omelet. When we got the results back from the state from all the Daily Sparks across North Carolina, they shared that ours was the #1 program in the state, reaching over 9,500 folks. We had the most minutes watched, all of those little things, the most engagements and all. So we're excited about that. But bringing us back to our 4-H family, what made us the most excited was seeing our family members sharing pictures of their kids cooking for their grandparents, for their parents, and seeing those pictures online. So that's just a little taste of what we do. We got a lot of things coming up, but I just sort of want to share how we can work together with a great team to make things happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Greg Honeycutt is going to come share with you. He's our FCS agent.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Greg Honeycutt. I'm the FCS agent, and what that means is Family and Consumer Sciences. Pretty much anything in the house, but my primary focus is food, nutrition, as well as food safety and food preservation. So one of the biggest things that we always do in Cooperative Extensions is we try to address the needs of our county. And from food and nutrition, the most recent State of the County health report conducted by the health department determined that nutrition and physical activity was the #1 community health priority. And so what we've tried to do is throughout all of our programs is to focus on trying to get the education and the materials out to the public to address that. Because nearly half of the population in Harnett County suffers from either overweight or obesity. And this can lead to more chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, etc. And so this year was a little bit different, or 2020 was a little bit different because we had to completely adjust everything that we've done before because we have all these wonderful face-to-face programs that we meet with, and we were pretty much shut down completely. And we could have pretty much just said, you know, well, this year's going to be a wash, and we're just going to have to give out materials through email and, you know, answer calls if people call us. But we took it as a challenge and came together as a team and decided that we were going to really use this as a time to boost up our social media, as Tim talked about, and also figure out how to do videos. And if you've ever got into trying to produce a video and edit a video, it's a process. And so we learned a whole lot this year about what not to do as well as what to do. And so we were able to actually reach over 13,000 people with our nutrition programs this year. And these some of the names of some of these programs included Healthy Meal Planning Basics, Cooking with Leftover Vegetables, Med Instead of Meds, and How to Cook with Your Kids. And throughout this, one of the highlights was that 100% of the participants that were evaluated at the end of our Med Instead of Meds Zoom program said that they were now cooking the recipes that they learned in class at home, and they plan to continue to eat the Med way using cooking and nutrition skills they learned in the program. And our biggest goal with anything that we do is that it has an impact and there is behavior change and that these people are continuing the things that they learned here. And so that was just some of the things that we did to adjust. Some of our biggest plans that are coming up this year is on our food safety standpoint. We have over 500 food establishments, permitted food establishments in Harnett County. That's a lot of people that need to know how to safely prepare that food for you. Because in the United States, 48 million cases of foodborne illness happen every single year. And so our goal is to give the education and do the training so that when you go eat at a restaurant, you're going to get something that's safe to eat. And so in 2020, there was the governor basically give a freeze on these trainings because of the risk of COVID. So what we did during that time at the state level at NC State University was we created an online version of our program, and we'll be rolling that out starting this year. And also in the meantime, they created the Count on Me NC campaign. So if you go to some restaurants around here as well as different hotels and other attractions, you may see a poster that says Count on Me NC Certified or Pledge. And that's an online program that they could go to that would help them set up their business to reopen and learn how they can adjust to the new COVID protocols. And so that was something that we did with our county. So I just want to share a couple things and appreciate you giving us the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next I'm going to introduce Selena McCoy. She's our horticulture agent. Selena Burnett.
Yeah. Of all the things that happened in 2020, I also got married. So y'all know how crazy that whole situation was right around March. But again, my name is Selena McCoy Burnett. I am the horticulture agent here in Harnett County. The horticulture agent works with growers, and that is growers of produce such as fruit and vegetables, growers of our #1 crop, which is sweet potato, as well as nursery and floriculture crop growers as well. I work with homeowners, and we all know we have tons of new folks coming into the county, and a lot of those folks have questions about what to do in their yard. They come to me for that. And I'm also the Master Gardener Volunteer Coordinator for Harnett County. Here in Harnett County, we have about 50 Master Gardener volunteers who are trained by me, who then go on to help, as Tim mentioned, extend the reach of extension here in Harnett County. Again, we have about 50 volunteers, and when 2020 hit us with everything it hit us with, we switched to a remote phone line for those questions. And this is really important because previously we had people that would just come into the office with their questions. By making it remote, we retained volunteer engagement, and we also kept the questions coming in from the county so that they know we are here to help them. Additionally, Brian will probably tell you a little bit more about this, but as ag agents, we work on the Ag Ventures grant every year. And this is a grant that can be applied for through farmers to develop something innovative on their farm that increases profitability. So through these grants, we are doing everything we can to support growers. Specifically, we're trying to support growers as the population grows. So this year, right here at the end of 2020, right into the start of 2021, we've already received money for farmers to develop crops specifically to support these new homeowners and new customers moving into the county. For example, we have folks coming in over on the Kipling side of the county who are looking for specific square hay bales. Well, with this grant money, we now have farmers that can provide that at a cost that is convenient to these new homeowners. Additionally, we're working with nurseries and landscapers to identify these new markets so that, of course, they can get those landscapes looking absolutely wonderful. We also work on supporting growers as some of the crop values decline. Some of you may be familiar with what tobacco has done in Harnett County. And previously, tobacco could pay off a year's worth of bills. We no longer have that opportunity just with how this market has turned out. So I work with growers to find alternative crops as well as diversify the crops they have. So instead of doing 3 crops, maybe let's switch over to 6 and we find some new markets to sell those crops in. Brian will tell you a little bit more about the pea sheller project we have, and I'm going to let him get into the details of that, but that's just one way we help people out. Additionally, we have new crops coming in such as cut flowers. We're also working to develop agritourism, which is when customers come out to the farm, get their hands dirty, and interact with the farmer. And this is really important since COVID happened, people want to get outside. Additionally, as Tim mentioned with the Visit NC Farm apps, Harnett County farmers now have the opportunity to market to the entire state of North Carolina. Additionally, because of the work we've done as a team, we've been able to provide the opportunity to list on this app completely free to the farmer for 2 years. There are not many other counties who have been able to do that. I also work with Brian to support first-time, small-time farmers. While the size of the farm may be decreasing in some parts of the county, we are getting new people every single year who are getting anywhere from 5 to 10 acres at a time, and they want to do something with it. To that end, we work with those Harnett County farmers, but I also work with the Soldier to Ag program. Being so close to Fort Bragg, we have a lot of people settling once they retire from the military here trying to get a farm started. Soldier to Ag meets about 6 times a year, and that has actually led to a national and an international impact. And I have a little bit of say in that. So that's really cool. We've got a tiny bit of Harnett County showing up on the national and international stage like that. Soldiers who go through that program then turn around, become farmers, become profitable, and give back to their communities. As we've touched on before, we've had to pivot with how we deliver our programs here in Harnett County. To that end, we've actually become one of the leading counties for video production. Jackie started to touch on it. We have resources that have been developed with our group here in Harnett County that are now showing up on the state level. That is massive when you think about what goes into a program like that. Additionally, Tim and I have been part of the Greenway video project. And I believe in January, y'all heard a little bit about that Greenway and Trails project. So any video you're seeing is actually a collaboration between Parks and Rec and NC State Cooperative Extension. We are working to film some of those shots, and I'm actually the one doing the editing. So if you like the video, great. Please let me know. If you don't like the video, please just tell me that you like the video. We also did a virtual Farm City Week in 2020, which is where we work to connect residents who may not know a lot about agriculture with the farmers here in Harnett County. We did it virtually this year with very professional, high-quality edited videos that were farmer interviews, Harnett County farmers. And we were thrilled when these were actually attended by our state director. So anytime we're getting any kind of state attention, it's just absolutely wonderful, and we love it. So again, that's just a little bit of what I do, and I'll pass it back over to Tim. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, next, and Selena mentioned Brian Parrish. Brian is our agriculture agent, so Brian.
I'm Brian Parrish. I've got some little handouts here if you guys, if I can approach the bench. I've always wanted to say that.
You can approach any time.
Maybe the only time I ever get to say that. Like I said, I work with crops here in the county, and I work with a lot of crops. We have a lot of diversity in our agriculture here in the county. And as Selena pointed out, tobacco has been our big crop here in Hornet County. And to give you an example, some farms just a few years ago went from 300 acres down to 100 acres, and that was really devastating for these farmers. And ever since that time, Selena and I have been working on alternative crops and other ways for these farmers to diversify their incomes. And when you flip over to the next picture, with that decline in tobacco economy, we've had a lot of tobacco greenhouses that are sitting empty. And Selena and I have been working with farmers. One picture there is a picture of tomatoes in one of those greenhouses, and the other picture is a farmer growing sweet potato slips in the greenhouse to get an earlier start. When he gets an earlier start, he can get to the field quicker, and he can produce sweet potatoes before anybody else has sweet potatoes and get a higher price for those sweet potatoes, and also help out Dunbar Foods and Dunn get those sweet potatoes early, and which is something that they want. As Selena mentioned, our grant funding for our farmers, a lot of times we don't, as an organization, we don't have money to give farmers, but we work with some grant programs. And since 2018 and 2017, we got grant funds for our farmers too. But every year we've been able to get over $20,000 for our farmers. A lot of these grants are $4,000 and $5,000, $3,000, $4,000, that kind of thing. But they've helped us try some innovative production methods and do some really interesting things here in the county. Move to the next picture. This shows our mobile processing unit. We've been able to get a lot of equipment that we needed for small and beginning farmers here in the county. And everybody in the office can tell you that mobile poultry processing unit, when the pandemic hit, it was busy almost every weekend. And we've got clientele from all walks of life, minority farmers, you name it. I've even got a veterinarian from Johnston County that comes and gets the equipment. So we've supported not only Harnett County, but a lot of the surrounding counties around us with that equipment. Flip the page again. Just a few years ago, we were able to talking about innovative things we're doing here in the county. We tried alfalfa interseeded into Bermuda grass, and alfalfa is a new crop here in Harnett County. We're able to do that successfully, and we're able to turn a $7,400 grant. I come from a sales background, so when I called up the seed people, I said, hey, if I buy a couple bags of seeds, can you throw in a couple bags of seed free for us? And I said, this is a good project. They said, yeah, we'll do that. So we're able to turn a $7,400 project into a over $18,000 project. We had a training, we had agents from all over the state, came here to Harnett County to see what we're doing, learn about these methods, and we ended up having over 60 people from around the state to come to that training. As you guys well know, with the development, a lot of our good land is being taken. So when you flip the page here again, you see our silvopasture. And silvopasture is basically something we've been, an innovative way we've been working to grow grass under trees. You can grow grass under trees. We've proven it here in Harnett County. That's another one of our innovative trainings that we've done across the state, training not only farmers across the state, but other agents across the state. And that's a way that we're going to have to start more and more as time goes by to feed the people here in America. We're going to have to do more innovative things like this to get double your money, so to speak, from your cropland. Local beef, as Selena mentioned about the grants, we've got we're having a lot more producers that are marketing local beef to consumers, and we were able to get a grant from one of our farmers to help with that. So we're doing a lot of that work as well. And then we'll flip this page again. We have a lot of problems here in our county with empty poultry houses. We had some poultry house company that was bought out by a Russian investor, and he decided he didn't want to run it anymore, and he closed all those places down. And we have a lot of empty poultry houses here in the county. We're doing work right now with a sheep producer who is bringing his sheep into some of those empty poultry houses and letting them lamb out. And when he lambs them out in there, he's not losing his lambs because of weather, predators, that kind of thing. So we're working on some ways to use these empty poultry houses as well. And we're always looking for more ways because we have a lot of them sitting around that are not generating income. The last one is our Harnett County Southern Pea Project. That was a project, again, to diversify income for farmers. I put in 2 grants, one to the North Carolina Tobacco Trust Fund Commission. We were awarded $32,500 for that grant, and I put in another grant to the NC State Innovation Grants and was lucky enough to get both of them. So we ended up with over $48,000 for this project. The project was supposed to start last year, but because of all the COVID stuff, we had trouble getting the equipment in, but we're ready to go this year, and we're excited to do that project this year. And that's pretty much got it for me. And I should have gave Paula one of these, so I apologize for that. Paula.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can see it's hard to hold these folks to 3 minutes, but I've tried.
They're
But
excited.
we
I
just
like that.
just have one more, and last but definitely not least, Katrin Sanders.
Thank you, Tim. Good morning. As Tim said, my name is Katrin Sanders, and I serve as the Community and Rural Development Agent for the local Cooperative Extension Service. So I will be sharing from a national, regional, state, and local level. So on a national level, I am a facilitator for e-extension. It's an impact collaborative which provides transformative solutions that strengthen organizations to serve the greater good. And the way that we do this is through a skill builder's perspective. And it allows, and I love hearing Brian when he was talking about innovation, because that's the purpose of it, is for colleges and universities across the nation to come together and take what programs they currently have and make them creative and innovative. So I'm so proud to be a part of that platform. On the regional level, I am also equally proud to work with my colleagues in Nash and Edgecombe. We developed and piloted our first ever NC-grown entrepreneurial program. And the program originated from the University of Florida. It's IFAS Extension. This program was designed for those wanting to make some extra money. And with the COVID and everything that we have been a part of, this was a great opportunity for us to roll this out. So it's those individuals that you know how whenever you have Christmas and Thanksgiving and you provide peanut brittle or that cake and they say, oh, you should be selling this. So that was the purpose of this program for those that actually bake breads, make pastries, candies, jams, jellies, and preserves, say that all together. And the course helps you discover your potential and venture into starting your own business. You can learn about food safety, quality production, development, regulatory requirements, how to make those jams and jellies and pastries. So I'm so proud of that. Greg doesn't know that I gave him a pass because he's a new dad, so I'm looking forward to bringing him on this project this upcoming year. On the state level, I am a part of the state racial equity team, which consists of 2 individuals from North Carolina State University and myself and another colleague from NC&T. We train agents throughout the state by Zoom using the Coming Together for Racial Understanding curriculum, which was developed from Everyday Democracy. Because of this work, I assisted NC State in roundtable discussions with staff from different colleges and professors on campus. I also had the opportunity to provide on the state level a 3-day Real Colors event, which is a personality instrument designed to learn individuals' personalities so that you can learn to work better as a team. Locally, I continue to assist residents that are wanting to start their own nonprofits. Those individuals with the wake of COVID and trying to figure out what can I do to help my community. With board development, leadership development classes with Johnson Lee Harnett and the Child Care Resource and Referral. I'm providing virtual financial workshops over Zoom, and this came about as being a part of the local VITA assistant programs that provide free tax preparation. For community engagement partnership with the Harnett County Arts Council, we held our first virtual Chalk Fest event, which allowed artists to showcase all of this magnificent work that they have. I'm in the process of recruiting for our Youth Stepping Forward program, which is a civic engagement program to really give our youth the opportunity to give back. I'm scheduling a partnership with our WIOA program, and we will be using a curriculum called You're Hired, which will provide the skills needed for those individuals to get a job, but also keep that job. Community Connections, we held a virtual engagement with pastors around COVID, and this was an opportunity to share best practices of how other progressive houses of faith are now providing resources for their community. So it was a lot of sharing and a great opportunity for them to get to know each other. I'm currently working with the Riverside community with an environmental water issue. I'm not sure if y'all have had the opportunity to see what's going on in the community, but there's a lot of stagnant water. So I'm helping them to find out, with the help of North Carolina A&T, what the environmental outcomes of that standing water. And I am happy to announce that we will be celebrating Small Farms March the 21st through the 27th. They asked that we do some type of food drive on a local level, and with the help of the Ag Center, we will be donating this week to our local, one or two of our local food places here in the county. So again, thank you for your support of the Harnett County Cooperative Extension Service, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
As I mentioned before, we have a lot going on. And I hope this was just gives you a taste of what we got going on there. And as you can see, you have one excellent team in the Extension Department here. So at this time, I'd just like to ask you guys if you have any questions. The staff's here, so we'll be glad to answer anything that you might have.
Anyone have any questions, comments?
Commissioner Johnson, I more have a statement. Tim, I want to congratulate you and your staff and working people on what an amazing job you guys have been doing. Just listening to all this just tells me you guys are hard at it, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner McCoy. I have a question for you, and the question is: I see that our farms in this county are down. Can you explain what's happening there?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the loss of tobacco. Brian may be able to better answer this question. He's been in the county a lot longer than I have, but the average farm age of the farmer is pretty high, and so as they retire, some of the land gets sold. It gets, the family members, rather than going into farming, they're selling some of the property for the solar fields and that kind of thing, and so with a lot of the development that's going on as well, a lot of farmland is being lost. And so that's why you can see from the infographic that even though the numbers are going down, the direct sales to our consumers are actually going up at the same time. So even though those number of farms and farmers are going down, we're still providing for the community.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have anything to add to that?
A lot of that was the tobacco cutbacks over the last few years have been really severe. And part of that, or a big part of that, is China is almost the market. It's a huge market for tobacco products. And with the different things going on in the world, and it's a world market too, they just weren't buying tobacco the last few years. And this year, they're coming back to buy tobacco again, and we're hoping the Chinese tobacco company that was buying tobacco from our farmers, had contracts with farmers here in Harnett County. They disappeared for 3 or 4 years, and now they are coming back. They're buying this year. They were contracting with farmers this year, and that's what I'm saying. Even big farmers, some farmers here in the county, just to give you an example, that they were farming 400 acres one year, and then the next year they went from 400 acres of tobacco down to 100 acres, which is a huge decompression on that farm, and it's hard to absorb, and even harder for smaller farmers to absorb. But like Selena was saying, we have new farmers, people that are buying 20 to 50 acres of land or inheriting 20 to 50 acres of land coming in our office every week. We've got 3 or 4 people almost every week coming in that are trying to do something on a smaller farm scale, and we are responding to that as well with a lot of our programs and our equipment for those farms.
And I would also just like to add too, sometimes our idea of farming or agriculture leans towards tobacco, soybean, cattle, and things like that. And a lot of the crops I actually work with, especially when it comes to nurseries, landscape providers, as well as floriculture, they're not always caught by the ag census because they're not always reporting in the same channels as some of the traditional row crop systems are. I'll also say, as we get some of these smaller folks in, they may consider themselves more of a homesteading operation with direct sales in the community rather than what we consider as a farm. So it's right now we're just in a really changing market, and we're kind of just going with the flow and working with whoever has questions and whoever wants to help the county.
And it's a lot, it's a big responsibility for us as agents, because we have people that come in, a lot of times they've inherited that farm or they bought a farm and they know nothing about it, and they come in and they want help from us. And it takes a lot of mine and Selena's time with these people that don't know anything coming in. And it's a huge investment of time and resources to get them up to speed and get them going. And you know, we're doing a good job with that, I feel. Sure do.
I have one more question, just one more. With the outgoing of the tobacco products, are the farmers invested in new crops, new plant crops in this county? Because I do believe in preserving the farmers. I like the fact that we still have a lifestyle of providing food for our citizens here, and even selling the food internationally. However we can provide that, I'm all for that. So I'm asking this question because I don't want to see all our farms just diminish.
Yeah, I mean, we are trying to develop new crops, just like Brian was talking about with the pea project. We're trying to encourage the production of, southern peas. Through the equipment we got, that's just a way to bridge them from one crop to the next. If they see they can produce that crop using the equipment that we have purchased through grants, then eventually they can buy their own equipment and continue to do that. There's other crops that are coming and working at. Do you know of any other specifics?
One of the crops that I've got one of the grants for was alfalfa. That's a hay crop. And it's traditionally grown in the western states, and they ship that, they truck out that alfalfa all the way in from the western states here to North Carolina, and that's sold to horse owners. And we've got a lot of horse owners, and we can grow that alfalfa here. We're working doing that. And that's a way that we can take something away from them, and we don't have the shipping cost involved in it. And we are, that's one of those crops. The other thing with the poultry house is what I was mentioning. There's a strong market for, those empty poultry houses, we're using them for sheep production operation. There's strong markets for sheep right now, with a lot of the ethnic markets. There's very high prices. You can almost make double the amount with sheep that you can with cattle, and that's another way that's going to shift some. And the market's on the East Coast primarily, and the legislature, North Carolina legislature, they had some money from the CARES Act that they invested heavily. They realized we needed more processing, animal processing facilities across the state. They invested heavily in that across the state. I think it was $20 million to help expand that. We're doing that, and that's going to help us a whole lot too with that sheep market. So I'm gonna say we're gonna see some different changes that are coming in some different areas from that, just because we're so close to where these big population areas are, and it's just a matter of getting that worked out to fill it.
Well, I'd like to say that I think you all have done a great job. You have a great staff.
Oh, excellent staff. Thank you.
And thank you. We're very fortunate to have this group. I've never worked with a group as good as this group here.
I know some of them.
Anyone else? Mr. Matthews, I just want to thank you. You and your folks' excitement is contagious. I think we could probably sit here and talk with you for several hours, but I guess we do need to move on. But thank you for all you're doing. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity maybe to come and sit down and talk with you maybe on an individual basis and catch up on some of these things that are so exciting to see that are taking place in our county. So thank you.
We'd love to have you come down, and I really do appreciate you allowing the entire staff to come. That was my goal, because they speak with a lot more passion about what they do, because they really love what they're doing and they really love helping people. So thank you for letting us all come.
We thank y'all for coming, and I can see why you think so highly of them. Thank you. Okay, let's see, that brings us to number 9, the county manager report. Ms. Stewart?
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you all, Cooperative Extension, for all that you do. We appreciate it, and we'll be getting in touch with you, Kid, about some things that you talked about. Thanks. So the first thing I'll give you is the COVID-19 update. Right now, our waiting lists are slowly decreasing. We've got a lot of people on making the calls to get the people scheduled. We're also vaccinating school and child care personnel. We had a drive-through scheduled for Harnett Central High School and Middle School tomorrow on Wednesday, but the weather may cause us to have to cancel that drive-through, so we'll know in the morning. Larry Smith's monitoring the weather, but it looks like it's going to be a no-go for tomorrow. I mean Wednesday, not tomorrow, on Wednesday. But we will definitely make a call on Wednesday morning about that. Also, our call volumes are down for COVID-19 patients with EMS. And our numbers from Friday, we don't have the updated numbers today for you, so the numbers from Friday are still valid. But we're still going on with it. We're just doing the best we can to get everybody vaccinated as often as we can get the vaccines. We're using them up. So the next thing I've got, just be thinking about this. This is something we either talk about at a work session or an upcoming budget workshop. But our nonprofits have been coming and reporting to you on what they've done this past year with the funds. And we kind of need to get a budget amount in for y'all to set a budget amount so that it's not up to the committee. They're actually a volunteer committee that helps us vet the projects and assign the money. So I'll just give you an idea of the last few years, how much money was budgeted. So in 2018, it was $60,000. In 2019, it was $56,000. And in 2020, it was $63,500. So that'll give you an idea. So roughly around $60,000 has been what we've allocated for nonprofits. And there's a lot of people that say, why are we even doing it? You know, let people give to the private on their own. It's taxpayer money. But some of these agencies do assist our departments that can't do that work. So most of these are partner organizations with the county. So that's the reason that we do this. And some of them, a lot of them, sometimes it's like a first year that they've started and we're trying to help them get off the ground. So just so you know, that's the amounts, and I just want you to be thinking about that so you can ask us any questions. I'll be happy to provide you the list of who's gotten the money in the past, and you have been hearing the reports, so you do know the valuable work that the nonprofits in Harnett County do for us. And that's all I have at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. I think for me personally, it might help if I could see that list. So if you would share that with us, for those that would like to see it, I think that would be a good resource for us. All right, that brings us to item 10, new business. Is there any new business to come before the group today?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have some new business. Know that we have the Harnett County Jetport Committee information in front of us, but I would like to move that we reconfigure the Jetport Advisory Board and that we remove Mr. Gordon Springle.
Okay, is that you would add that onto the agenda? Any discussion on that? Add that on agenda. You want to add that into new business? Any discussion on that recommendation?
Repeat that motion.
Pardon me?
Could you repeat that motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we reconfigure the Jetport Advisory Board and we remove Mr. Gordon Springle. As you know, he was appointed to an additional 4-year term prior to his term that is supposed to end, I believe it's January 30th of 2021. He was appointed for another additional 4 years, going along with representation on this board, or on the committee rather. I believe that it would be more imperative for us to have some current sitting commissioners on that board.
Mr. Nickel, do you want to put that in the form of a motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we reconfigure the Jetport Advisory Board and remove Mr. Gordon Springle.
Okay, we have that as a motion. Do I hear a second? I will second it for the purpose of discussion. Any discussion on that? If I hear you correctly, Mr. Nickel, I believe you were looking at the fact that since he is no longer serving on the Board of Commissioners, that this, and don't let me put words in your mouth, this is moved to try to improve communication between this committee and this board?
That is correct, and I also misspoke. I was also thinking about his appointment to the CCCC board. That's where I got the additional 4 years.
Yeah, I believe this was,
My apologies.
yeah, if I remember correctly, I believe this was an at-large appointment prior to his leaving.
Yes, sir.
Right. Any other comments? Discussion, questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, closed sessions, the next item on the agenda. Do we have a need to go into closed session?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do. I make a motion that the board go into closed session for the following purposes. Number one, to consult with the county's legal counsel in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege concerning the handling of certain litigation or claims, including the following case: U.S. versus Thomas E. Tilley et al., civil action file number 1:19-CV-626 out of the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of North Carolina. And secondly, to discuss certain personnel matters. This motion is made pursuant to North Carolina General Statute, Section 143-318.11A3 and 6.
Thank you, Mr. Witherspoon. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Nickel. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move into closed session.